SourceFood.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Nate.
We've almost done it. We are so close. And to push you through the end of the weekend, I'm just going to read out my tweet today. Iowa has bad corn.
Hey, you're right.
No, that's
you're right. Yeah, you're right.
If you need some type of motivation to get through the rest of the week, just know that Iowa has bad corn. We hate Iowa. Beat Iowa.
As far as I
kind of in the zone today.
Somebody who knows corn a little bit better might be able to tell me, but I think either between Nebraska and Iowa, one of them makes corn for people and one of them make corn for feed.
Well, I think it's...
Or maybe it's a mix of both.
Shout out to whoever. I can't remember the name of the listener that brought us corn. He brought us Nebraska corn.
It was Nebraska corn.
Oh, it was the best corn I've ever had.
Okay, so maybe Iowa's feed corn.
Maybe. Well, I think Nebraska's feed corn, too. Also, for the first time the other day, I shucked corn.
Did you? For the first time?
Yeah.
For the very first time.
Yeah, because my mom, we would still get corn. I mean, it would be grocery store corn, so it wouldn't be that good. But, I mean, it's corn. It's corn.
It's corn.
But, actual corn from the side of the road at a stand is phenomenal. And it had to be shucked. And they were like, hey, you want to shuck some corn? I said, absolutely, I do.
Have you done a story on detasseling?
No, I haven't. But
No.
I've actually, we've done stories on that at 10-11.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
It's interesting.
It is.
It's like every kid that grows up in Nebraska has to do it for a few days before they decide not to. Yeah.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
You were a detasseler?
Yeah, it's like for some reason it gets past child labor laws, but they allow you to go out there and work in awful conditions when you're 13 and you get paid pretty well.
Yeah, see, this is what I thought. Tyler says 99% of the corn you see in the fields is not sweet corn. It's used for feed and fuel, etc. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Just in general, not Nebraska or Iowa.
Most of it, and that's one of the first things they said, because when I first came here, I was like, wow, look at all this corn. We should go steal some. They said, you don't want to steal that corn.
Don't eat that corn.
No, you don't eat that corn. And then I also learned that it alternates between corn and soybeans.
Oh, yeah.
Because someone from the East Coast, when I first came here, I said, oh, what's all the little corns doing? It's not little corn.
Oh, it's not?
It's soybeans.
It's soybeans.
Yeah, it's soybeans. So I had to learn that.
And what do you do with soybeans?
You eat them.
You eat them. Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Or they're probably used for feed. I don't know. Help us out, text line. 402-464-5685. Honda Lincoln Hotline. Starter Heyman text line. You can tell who the city boys are in the room because we have absolutely no clue when it comes to corn. But that's why we have a text line, so you guys can help us out. You can also help us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter on the Starter Heyman video stream. You can see what's going on here in studio. You can tell us that we're idiots. That's fine as long as you interact with us. Say whatever you want. Just be nice. I mean, you don't have to be too mean.
We need more subs.
Yeah, we need more subs too. We officially hit 2,000. We appreciate every single one of you for helping us get to that goal. Now we're trying to get 3,000, as Box says, the young kids say, subs. Is that what your son says?
Well, he doesn't say anything yet, but he's got a few words.
How old's your son?
He's a year and a half. He doesn't really. I mean, he's got some words.
He's probably got some words.
Yeah, he found the moon the other day. And now
what did he point to?
His new fascination, whenever he goes outside, he's like, moon. And I'm
like,
that's
nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't look at the sun and do that, but the moon.
Yeah, and as you show him horror movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
he watches Game of Thrones with me. And he's sometimes in the room. But he doesn't really watch it.
But you say he doesn't know what's going on.
He doesn't really know. He likes to read books, and, we do other things.
All right, well, we're going to start out on a good foot here because we're definitely going to get into Indiana, Big Ten football. That's kind of on the docket today. But first, I wanted to get to a question that I asked the Twitterverse today, and I got to see the updated poll. And it was candy corn, ? And it was absolutely or get it out of here.
Yeah.
No, just like candy, because
I think
when it comes to candy, is there any more controversial candy than candy corn? Maybe Peeps?
Oh, is that even controversial?
That's the thing. I think most people are kind of on the same page. We don't like Peeps.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I'm not a big candy guy. I don't really eat candy. I'll eat chocolate from time to time, but the Sour Patch, Swedish Fish, stuff like that, I never eat. But candy corn, every Halloween, I'll get a bag. I'll eat the pumpkins. I'll eat the regular corn. It's great. It's I just love it. Candy corn is absolutely amazing. It's basically just chewing on sugar. And I've never understood why people hate it so much. Are you anti-candy corn?
Well,
you seem like an
it's kind of
it
has a wax texture to it, so I don't think that helps. I can eat one or two of the small ones. I'll tell you what I'm out on is the chocolate candy corn, where they like just have a, have you seen the brown like candy corn at the end?
They call it harvest corn.
Well, whatever they call it, that's gross. That's the worst.
I don't know if I've even tried that one.
I wouldn't.
Because Carly came home the other day and she had candy corn. I was like, wow, like this is incredible. But supposedly you have to ask people if they like candy corn because it's controversial.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like candy corn. I like, I'll eat one of those. I like the pumpkin ones. I'll eat one of those. They all taste the same, but
yeah, those ones
that brings me a little more joy. But yeah, that's a lot of sugar.
All right, let me see.
That's about all I could do.
I gotta look at the Twitter poll because again, I'm assuming it's gonna be pretty split. Yeah. Okay, so 22 votes are in. 45% say absolutely. 55% say get it away from me.
Yeah. And at least, dentists will say, get those away from you.
What?
Dentist.
Is candy corn
Dentist, apprentice?
Is that good?
Well, it's just sugar. Just chewing on sugar.
I mean, basically.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot of calories. That's why it's probably decided. I hope the guys at Farrell's aren't listening to me right now because they're going to be upset with me.
Why is that?
Too many calories.
Oh, yeah.
Not
Are you
macros.
working with them?
No, I'm not doing
No.
that. We always talk about, macros and all that good stuff. Aaron says candy corn and peanuts are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard about that, actually.
I don't know about that.
And then Thomas and Lincoln says that candy corn is expletive. Okay, well, that will give you your answer right there. But how about this, Bach? Let's talk about something. I just wanted to throw out the question of the day because that was on the top of my mind. I don't know why. I was just coming back from the gym and I was like, I wonder how many people are anti-candy corn and how many people are pro-candy corn. Because, in Nebraska, corn, it's the corn state. So, no, actually, I'm pretty sure Nebraska is the beef state. Never mind. But people like corn here, so I'm like, you might like candy corn. Let's talk about something a little bit more controversial then. Nebraska football, where it currently stands. Mickey Joseph again takes to the podium today, getting ready for Indiana. It seems like we heard from some players too earlier in the week. Where are you kind of at with this game? I've had the discussion a couple times now, and I know we've talked about it, that the line is still standing at 6. And the way I look at it is I'm not worried about that as much as just winning. If Nebraska won on a last-second field goal, for crying out loud, I would probably be okay. That's a win for Nebraska. I think that's a step in the right direction. So it's just fascinating that Vegas has the line that high. But to be honest, like this is probably, since we've started this season, the game where I feel the iffiest about. Because I Northwestern, Georgia Southern, North Dakota, I was wrong on 2 of them, but Nebraska's going to beat the hell out of them. They're going to turn around. They're focusing on these teams, whatever have you. Oklahoma, considering the circumstances, I thought they were going to be a little bit more competitive. Mickey Joseph's first game, a lot of juices are flowing, all that good stuff. Also, Slim says candy corn is absolute trash. Come on, Slim. So I just look at this game, and this is the first one, and I want the text line to help us out too, and all of our listeners. How do you feel? Like, I just feel weird. And I don't know how to pinpoint it. And that's why I come to you, Bach, because I know you're Mr. Pessimist over there and you don't believe in Nebraska football and all blah, yada, yada, yada. I don't know how to feel, and I don't know what to think of this game coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually pretty close to 2 evenly matched teams with similar strengths and weaknesses. I mean, so I think it's going to be fascinating to see. Indiana, it's hard to really get on the side of Indiana. Indiana hasn't been blowing anybody out. They've edged out some close games against some pretty good competition for what it's worth. Never disrespect the Hilltoppers. Western Kentucky's a solid victory. Idaho's not bad so far, but I mean, those are games that they struggled in maybe. I mean, obviously it points to the fact that they're not overwhelming. I mean, they were down, I think they're shut out at half against Idaho, and then they were down like 11 in the third quarter against Western Kentucky. So
and they were down 38-10 at halftime.
Cincinnati's a different story. Yeah, Cincinnati just kind of took care of business in that game. But and so maybe Indiana's kind of got that gut check, now in them, and now they either fall because of it or want to fight back harder because of it. But my point is, I don't think that Indiana's necessarily going to be out of the game if Nebraska gets a couple touchdown lead. I don't think Indiana's going to blow Nebraska out. It doesn't look like that's going to add up. So I mean, with everything else, I just think it's going to be a pretty equal game. And as that has played out for Nebraska football, they just aren't winning any of those games.
Right.
Now there's a new guy at the helm. This is it's the new hope with Mickey Joseph. So I'd like to see something different there. But as I look at it, I think, sometimes I just, when I have this even of a game, I look at field goal kickers because sometimes it can come down to that. And I think Indiana's got a better field goal kicker with a little bit.
That's
more
your X factor.
That's what's going to have to be my X factor when both teams had a bad offensive line. They both are probably going to sling the ball all over the field, and they both have bad defenses. Neither of them overwhelming. I think they're very similar.
I don't know. I'm still that's why I'm gonna read some of the text to see if maybe I can point my head in the right direction. Mouth of the South says if you eat candy corn and actually enjoy it, they should lock you up because you're a psycho. Headhunter says love candy corn. All right, we're psychos together, Headhunter, because I love candy corn. Slim says watch us win by 30. Nothing makes sense this year. Yeah, nothing does make sense. This is an interesting score. Thomas and Lincoln says winning this upcoming game, Nebraska wins by 1, 20-21 Nebraska. We'll get back and circle back to that here in a second, Box.
See, he thinks there's a couple field goals in there for Indiana.
No, he does. That's fair enough. I don't know if Nebraska's going to get any field goals. I feel like a win this weekend has a way bigger impact on the team than a lot of people think. They need to see what they can do, and if they can do it, and when they do, watch out. Milkman says, I feel optimistic, just hoping Mickey can make it better. I'm assuming that is. What's interesting is that when I first made my prediction, it was just kind of like a knee-jerk reaction. I said 42-38. I said high scoring game. Indiana has the highest tempo in the country. I think if Thomas and Lincoln scenario, in which case it's 21-20, Nebraska coming out on top, that would mean, again, I hate throwing coaches under the bus, and this isn't what I want to do, but that means that what needed to change on the defensive end of the ball has changed significantly. Like that means that, and I'm not saying like this is the coaching regime you're going to stick with next year, but that would mean that Bill Busch is doing something right. I mean, for crying out loud, like how many points did they give up to Georgia Southern? I can't remember. It felt like 100. Yeah. And you're telling me against the highest tempo offense in the country, who so far this year, this defense has made every quarterback they play against look like the freaking Heisman. Ryan Helinski included in that, who isn't very good. If you hold him to 20 points, that probably would make me more confident than anything. Because I think at this point we've come to realize Casey Thompson's going to do his thing. Trey Palmer is as advertised. Travis Vokalek is a leader. He's at 5th, 6th year guy at this point. Like he's an adult playing against kids. Yeah. Honestly, is how I look at it. And Anthony Grant has been one of the best surprises so far this season in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I think the offense is fine. The offense is honestly the least of my concerns, and Mark Whipple's the least of my concerns. My concerns is effort, for one, and I don't know if you can blame too much effort on the offense. Now, Oklahoma, maybe a little bit, but for the most part, the effort is what we've seen has been on the defense. And the defense, for what it's worth, has been getting gashed by every team they've played. So if you can hold the team with the highest tempo in the country to 20 points, Thomas and Lincoln, I like your thoughts because that would be the best case scenario in my opinion.
Well, and I like the optimism, and maybe you can see that, but I like you. I don't expect this game to be a low scoring game. I think both defenses need a lot of work, and hopefully Bill Busch can get it going. I liked what he said the other day. If you missed it, because myself included, a lot of us are around here going, I just kind of feel bad for Coach Busch because it's not really a fair chance. He's saying, throw all that out to the side. This is a great opportunity to be coaching as a defensive coordinator at Nebraska, so don't feel bad for him. So I won't. Right. But at the same time, I don't expect you to have results based off of just 1 week, particularly playing against this offense. It's an offense that's scoring in the 30s. It was held down to 24 against Cincinnati, but I think Cincinnati's a better defense than that. Yeah. Illinois held them to 23. Illinois hasn't allowed anybody else to score above 10. So you're looking at some solid defenses there. The other scores, they're getting in the 30s. They're not exactly like, it's not like they're scoring 50 50 points a game. They're not Minnesota, but they are, they're looking pretty solid. So I do think that you'll see that game in the 30s, maybe get to the 40s. I suppose maybe it's kind of the devil you do knows worse or better than the one that you don't know, and usually I think it's better. But I don't know if that applies in this situation as opposed to like I'm thinking through the Nebraska lens of it, so I'm a little bit worried about that defense and what I've seen
I agree.
and how things pop up. But I will say this: I think Anthony Grant's the best player in the game. You talk about another X factor before you get to field goal kickers. If you go down that list, you can also say, you know what? At some point, I just think the best player of the game might take this thing over, and that's what I'm interested to see. Is Nebraska? I don't think you want to get into a shootout with Indiana. I think that no. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily doomsday scenario in this case, as opposed to trying to get in a shootout against Oklahoma or anything.
Right.
But I do think that that will be part of it. Is limit them what they want to do. They want to throw 50 times a game. Try to eat some clock. And I know that's not Nebraska's bread and butter, but you got to adjust to what your defense is doing. You can't just say, "Oh, well, the offense has been good this season. We do whatever we want." You got to combine this thing and get the wins, and I think now you've got certainly all the people on the same page on that coaching staff, and so yeah, I mean, it still feels like it go either way. It still feels kind of odd. I would say odd, but we've seen it so often with Vegas. I think just kind of
what's throwing me
getting
off.
Nebraska fans to continue to vote for it. I mean, continue to pile money into it. But.
Like the biggest thing, like that's what's been throwing me off the most. I thought it was going to be even, maybe Nebraska by a point or two. How it's reached 6.5. That's honestly what's making me feel weird, because I always defer to Vegas, because trust me, Vegas isn't making all the money that they make off of winners. Like Vegas knows, and they put these lines there for a reason, and it really has been throwing me off. Christian Lincoln has a point, and to be honest, I'm not sure how I want to answer it, because he says, "Are you sold on the offense? Couldn't move it whatsoever against OU and have played the easiest of their schedules before that." I am sold on the offense in the sense that I think they can put up points. But what's so interesting with mentioning the OU game is that coming into that game against Nebraska, Oklahoma had statistically one of the best defenses in the country. Right? Like they were a top 10 defense in the country before they played Nebraska, and I think maybe even after. And then what's so weird and so odd is that Kansas State made them look like children. Like Kansas State ran the ball all over them all night long. So that's what makes me feel so weird about it, because before that, before the Kansas State game was ever a thing, Christian, I would tell you, like, you know what? Oklahoma has a really good defense. Nebraska's been able to put up points against teams that are maybe inferior or about on their level. I don't know, maybe like a Northwestern. I guess you could throw Indiana into that grouping too. And I would say, you know what? Okay, that sounds about right. Against these teams, Nebraska's going to put up points. But Oklahoma, an elite defense, no, you probably aren't, especially when the defense was on the field so much. So I would say I'm more sold on the offense this year than last year. I would confidently say that. Now, does that mean I'm sold on the offense scoring against like in Ohio State or scoring against a Michigan? No, probably not. But if I was comparing the two, I'd probably take this year's. Would you? Only thing I'd probably take, as crazy as it is, I'd probably take last year's offensive line. Neither have been good, but if I had to pick and choose, I'd probably take the one that has the second round draft pick on it.
Right, and that's where you kind of, that probably might be where it be. I mean, Samori Toure, pretty good addition there, too.
But I would say
you could use Austin Allen.
Yeah,
I like Vokalek.
I think Vokalek, when healthy, is a solid tight end.
Yeah,
and I think Trey Palmer is as advertised. Like, he's set the record for most receptions through 4 games in Nebraska history. Like, that's not. Now, I know it's a completely different offense than Nebraska's ran in the past. Like, this is essentially an air raid offense is what we've come to, that can sprinkle in an Anthony Grant busted 40, 50-yarder. But I would say for the most part, this is a passing offense. And with that being said, that's going to benefit Trey Palmer. But I would say Trey Palmer out of any group would probably be the best receiver on the field.
Well, I think to me, the offense is pretty clear, and you'll see this at times. I always go back to the Callahan example, because people will tell you to this day that Callahan's offense was not the problem, it was the defense. And certainly if you had to pick one or the other, was the defense. But Callahan's offenses shrank when they were outmatched against big-time opponents. that's kind of where I think this offense is. When you play Oklahoma and your offensive line last year or this year, it's going to get overwhelmed against really great defenses.
Which they have.
And that's going to hurt. I mean, because especially now with this year's offense, unless you're going to the backup quarterback, you just don't have a quarterback that can make something out of nothing. He's going to he needs protection for him to be effective. I don't think that's going to be too much of it's going to be a problem every game, but I don't think it's going to be like an overwhelming problem this week. So I think they're going to be able to get that shootout going and score plenty of points this week. But I'd still probably lean towards last year's offense, to be honest with you.
Interesting. I don't know. That's a good question. 402-464-5685. You taking last year's offense? You taking this year's offense? You'd certainly take last year's defense. I'll tell you that. That is not even an argument at this point. AA Ron says, what worries me is Whipple being a little too pass heavy. We have to keep ground and pound the run in the Big Ten, especially since we have Grant, Irvin, and Yant. It'll be interesting. I think Indiana is exploitable on both ends. Indiana doesn't have a great defense. Cincinnati put up 45.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati's offense, for what it's worth, it wasn't what it was last year. I'll tell you that much. It'll definitely be interesting to see. One more on this conversation. We'll break down a little of the other games in the Big Ten. First, we got to get Andrew Alex 24/7. We're going to go around the country, not in the Big Ten. We'll have that next right here on the block.
It's time again for Lincoln's Best Oktoberfest, the 7th annual Piedmont Oktoberfest, October 8th from 5 to 11 p.m. Enjoy dozens of beers, amazing local food, live music, costume contests, Stein holding contests, yodeling, and more, with tickets starting at only $33. Live music by the B Street Band, provided by Aloe Fiber, and safe rides home, provided by Z-Trip and the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office. Get your tickets today at the shopsatpiedmont.com. Use promo code The Ticket to receive 10% off your complete order. It's the Piedmont Oktoberfest. The shops at Piedmont.com.
Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day work week schedule with additional overtime days, with both day and night shift schedules available. Stand-up forklift and high-reach forklift experience is a plus for open positions, but they're willing to train for those without experience. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Mild and breezy conditions here for our Thursday, topping out with a high of 78. South winds could gust over 20 at times, with just a few passing clouds. Heading into tonight, we'll keep a little bit of cloud cover around the region, a low down to around 53. Warm and breezy again tomorrow. South winds gusting over 20 with a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all of our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. We saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto on West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.58 per hour. And other select jobs starting at $24.28 per hour, with wages growing up to $30.30 per hour. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
I'm sick of the chaos.
Yeah, I am too.
But some people love coaching searches. Like, they love it. This is fun for them. Some people would prefer that to having consistency and success, which is odd to me. But if you like chaos, that's your own thing, man.
I used to think that was about 3% of the fan base. Yeah, I'm going more toward 25% now.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, very happy Thursday to all of you. You listen to On the Block 93.7 The Ticket. My name is Nate Brennan. We're having a little bit of a Bach party this week.
That's right.
Because no Eric Strickland. He's on a little bit of a sabbatical over there in New York. Had some Monday Night Football. I think he might be on the move today, actually. He might be calling from the airport. We'll hear from him at 3 o'clock. He'll give us a rundown of everything that's been going on. But he's been shaking hands, kissing babies, doing what Strick does. 402-464-5685, Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. As always, we want to hear from you. You can also check us out on the Starter Heyman video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. If you head over to YouTube, tell your mom, tell your cousin, tell your uncle, tell someone you hate for all I care. Tell them to subscribe to 93.7 The Ticket. We appreciate you guys getting us to 2,000 subscribers, but we want more. Total domination on YouTube is the goal. Help us get to 3,000. A shout out to everyone that's helped us get to this point. But we will head to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Again, that's 402-464-5685. You can text us as well. Where we're going to be brought in, or we're going to be bringing in Andrew Alex, one of my old buddies from over in Virginia, works for 24/7 Sports. How you doing today?
Doing well, Nathan. I'm doing well. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, hanging in there, just getting through the day, ready for the weekend, working for the weekend, as we like to say around here. So as we always do every single Thursday, we're going to have Andrew break down some of the nationally televised games that aren't Nebraska and Indiana, even though it is prime time, and Bach doesn't like when I say that, but it is prime time.
BTN
it's prime time. But we're going to break down some of the national games that are going to be getting a lot of attention that you're going to want to tune into. And Andrew, the first one I want to bring up to you, and it's kind of sad that we're talking about playoff implications already, but as we've seen in the Big 12 conference, for the most part, you have to go undefeated in order to make the playoff. Baylor already has one loss. Maybe if they were to win this game, they'd be able to squeak into the playoff. But Oklahoma State, it just feels like a must-win for them if they want to make a serious run into that Final Four. What do you see in this one?
Well, yeah, Nathan. I mean, we don't really know that much about Oklahoma State, do we? And I feel like that's going to be the theme of some of the games that we today. But I mean, who's Oklahoma State's Power 5 win? It's a win over Arizona State. They won 34-17. Yeah, that was week 1. Now we can look back 5 weeks later and say, yeah, maybe not so big of a deal. Baylor has been solid all year. They've been a rock against the run, and even in games that they've lost, the defense was great. Allowing just 26 in that 26-20 loss to BYU. No one's hit 3 yards per carry against them. Overall, the D is allowing just over about 300 yards per game. The running game has been hit or miss, but in this one, I really like Baylor to come away on top.
Ooh, Baylor at home. Interesting. I think that'll make it very fascinating for the committee as well. If Baylor were to run the table with just that one loss, would they get in the playoff? It probably depends on what happens in the SEC. And for what it's worth, it probably happens we're going to talk about the ACC matchup here in a little bit. That might have some implications as well. But first, I want to switch over to the Big Ten, a couple games that a lot of people probably won't be too tuned in for because they're either going to be in the Haymarket tailgating at Tipsy Tina's, or they'll be watching Nebraska face off against Indiana at home. But what I want to get to, and we throw out the F word a little bit with Michigan, and that would be the word fraud. I don't think they're in that territory quite yet. They do squeak out a win at home against Maryland, but they're going to play against the Hawkeyes of Iowa, one of the better defenses in the country. It pains me to say that as a Nebraska fan, but do you think Iowa's got a shot at home against the Wolverines?
Well, it's certainly a battle of strength against strength, right? Michigan, I think, putting up on average about 50 points per game, the number 1 scoring offense in FBS right now. On the other end, Iowa's defense has allowed just 2 offensive touchdowns all season. As crazy as that sounds, they have been absolutely a solid rock defensively. So what you have is a question of, A, what do we know about Michigan, right? Maryland, not necessarily the most inspiring performance in the history of the University of Michigan. And, for Michigan fans who had to counter accusations of fraudulentism due to the just sheer cakewalk that was their first 4 games on the schedule, you go out and you play Maryland, and that's not necessarily inspiring for what Michigan wants to be. That's a top 5 team in the country. I do think they will beat Iowa, but more than I'm looking at, because I just think that, if Michigan loses this game, then they're clearly frauds. But I think that you can walk away from this game believing that they're frauds if Iowa even keeps it close. I believe that Iowa is currently, as it stands, an 11-point favorite. If Iowa could keep this game within a touchdown or something, I'm not believing in Michigan at all whatsoever anymore. And I've barely been believing in them for the past 2 games regardless.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because Nebraska will play both of these teams this week, and that game's going to kick off at 11 o'clock. So definitely want to keep your eyes peeled to see what happens over there in Iowa country and see if maybe they can put up a fight against Michigan, who the F word has been flirting with their program for a little bit. Going to stay in the Big Ten. A team that we've been talking about quite a bit here, Andrew, is Minnesota. They've looked like certainly the best team in the Big Ten West, outside of Ohio State, possibly the best team in the Big Ten. They're going to host Aiden O'Connell and Purdue. It sounds like Aiden O'Connell will be playing in this one, despite not playing last week against FAU. Minnesota, a 12-point favorite. And what's so interesting about this one is, despite all the preseason hype before the season for Purdue, they end up losing to Syracuse, barely beating FAU last week. They sit at 2-2. Do you think this one ends up being a blowout, or do you think Aiden O'Connell can keep it close?
I believe with the arm of Aiden O'Connell, Purdue always has the chance to keep it close, but clearly to some degree this is a flawed football team. We saw that against, Syracuse. The Penn State game, suddenly, although that was a loss, if you're a Purdue fan, you might have walked away from that game more confident in the Boilermakers than you would have going into the season. But, sobering was the Syracuse loss. And, Sean Tucker of Syracuse was able to have a day, which means I think that Purdue is going to have problems with a guy by the name of Mohamed Ibrahim. Yes, Mohamed Ibrahim, workhorse running back that's burst onto the scene for PJ Fleck's Golden Gophers this year. 89 attempts, second in the nation right now with 567 rushing yards. Already scored 8 times on the ground. Purdue's already allowing 116 yards per game. They've done a good job of limiting the big plays not really seeing many yards of 10 yards or more. It's kind of going to be, I think that's what it comes down to, because ultimately, in the quarterback battle, I give advantage to Purdue, but pretty much everywhere else, it's Minnesota. I don't see it as a blowout right now, but I still like the Gophers.
Andrew, I'm going to go through the rest of Minnesota's schedule and let me know if any of these teams really worry you, because Minnesota, for what it's worth, pretty easy as a team in the Big Ten West, pretty easy schedule down the road. It'd be interesting to see if they go into that Big Ten championship game against Ohio State undefeated, because as we know in those championship games, anything can happen. So they host Purdue this week. They travel to Illinois the following week. I think this is the one that you're probably going to want to circle on your calendar. October 22nd, they'll travel to Penn State. Now, if they get past Penn State, they'll host Rutgers, they'll travel to Nebraska, host Northwestern, host Iowa, finish the season on the road against a 2-2 Wisconsin team. Outside of Penn State, do you think any of those teams give them any worries?
Well, Nathan, it's the Big Ten, and it's Minnesota. So I'm not here to coronate Minnesota just yet, but, it definitely plays to their favor. Now, Wisconsin's got talent. Obviously, it's a rivalry game, not a good season for the Badgers so far. We've seen this before, though. Perhaps they could turn it around. Nebraska, a tough environment to play in. Again, I'm not going to try to get anyone's hopes up down there in Lincoln. Just the idea that, this isn't like Clemson, right? In the ACC a few years ago, where it's like, if they can just get past Florida State, it's going to be a cakewalk the rest of the way. No, every game provides a new challenge. Minnesota might be better than we expected coming into the season. But hey, what are the Vegas odds right now? What does Vegas have as the favorite coming out of the Big Ten West? Maybe Minnesota?
Well, I know for a fact that now it's Minnesota. Before the season, believe it or not, Wisconsin was the favorite. Nebraska was in second to win the Big Ten West. Hope you didn't put money on that, my friends. And then Minnesota came in at third. I don't know what the actual line is right now, but I'm going to say with almost 100% confidence that Minnesota's probably the favorite in the Big Ten West, rightfully so.
Yeah, probably the favorite. But again, as the Big Ten West has shown, almost similar to the ACC Coastal, when no team is truly dominant, that creates parity, which creates interesting seasons, upsets, and, a bunch of teams that need to go into every game feeling like they have a chance to take an L. But with that being said, Nathan, if I do recall, you were telling everyone back home to bet on Nebraska to win the Big Ten West. So what you really mean is, I feel sorry for you if you listened to you.
Well, for what it's worth, I did sprinkle a little money on Nebraska to win the Big Ten West, and I've been telling Bach all week, for what it's worth, Nebraska might not have had the best start to the season, but they're only 0-1 in the Big Ten. There's always hope. There's always reason to drink Kool-Aid. All right, we're going to switch over to our neck of the woods. We're going to travel on over to the ACC because, again, I hate this early in the season saying that there's playoff implications, but I tried to pick games that seriously do, because we look at the ACC as a whole, tons of teams that are ranked, but outside of Clemson, I don't think there's any teams that anyone's saying, okay, they're a playoff team. Wake Forest gives them a scare on the road last week. I think if Clemson loses this one, to be entirely honest with you, I don't see them making a 4-team playoff. I think this would be a huge win against an NC State team that's looked pretty good so far this season. Game day will be over there at Clemson. Do you think NC State gives them a fight, or do you think the fact that Clemson has to win this game to make the playoff is really going to be the motivation here?
Well, no, I think NC State gives them a fight, and if your NC State was like the biggest game in a long time for the Wolfpack. I mean, this is the first time these two teams have faced off in the top 10, and given how long both these teams have played in the ACC, that's a long time for that first top 10 matchup to happen. But look, last week, I mean, we all love the Demon Deacons there. Coach Muma doing a great job with those boys. Sam Hartman's a great quarterback.
Yeah,
he's a good player. And he's been a good player for quite a few years now. That's what happens when you redshirt a guy and you get him to start for 5 years. Against Clemson last week, he set the school single-game record for passing touchdowns. Threw 6 passing touchdowns. Clemson's defensive backs got absolutely gashed. It was not ideal. And Devin Leary, quarterback of NC State, he's no slump either. I mean, last year was really just coming out party. 35 touchdowns for 5 interceptions. Now, on the other end, this year so far, not as good, but 9-2. They are scoring like mad. I believe they're a top 10 team in terms of scoring, and they're only allowing 11.8 points per game. Competition hasn't been all there, but if there has ever been a test for DJ Ugagalera, or however you pronounce it, this is it.
Yeah.
Because NC State's got a solid defense. He was coronated to be the guy after Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
And though he's not like terrible, expectations when you're the guy that replaces Trevor Lawrence, who replaced Deshaun Watson at Clemson, well, they're going to be pretty darn high. And they got a solid backup there. This could be make or break for DJU, just like you're saying it could be make or break for Clemson's playoff chances. I like a competitive one here. Home crowd environment for NC State, going to pull into it. I do like Clemson to come out on top, though.
Yeah, I think Clemson's probably going to pull out with this one, unfortunately. But, I love me some coastal chaos. Looks like there might even be a little bit of Atlantic chaos this year. Wake Forest gave them a scare last week, NC State, obviously 10th in the country. It'll be at Clemson. It'll be a very fascinating game. Going to want to tune in for game day. All right, I got to ask you for the last one. We've seen a hurricane game between the Hokies and UNC before. Most people probably don't care too much about the Virginia Tech Hokies, but it'll be an interesting game over there in UNC because they're getting the after effects of Tropical Storm Ian now that's been downgraded from a hurricane. Any chance that our Hokies pull this one out?
Well, Nathan, I don't know. It's
hurricane game. Come on.
Virginia Tech's offense is pretty brutal. And though the hurricane might play to our advantage because Drake May, quarterback of North Carolina, Charlotte native, by the way.
Yeah.
I think he was a top 10 recruit, at the position in the country, a guy who 247, my employer graded out to be a potential first round NFL draft pick coming out of high school. Like that's what they say his skill set translates to. And so far, so very, very good. 16 touchdowns already on the year. But if it's pouring rain, it's tough to throw the ball. The problem is Virginia Tech can't run the ball. Their offensive line run grades are like the worst in Power 5. So that doesn't necessarily
third worst in Power 5. Thank you very much.
I guess it's if you're a Virginia Tech fan, you kind of got to hope for a mud fight where the defense can stand tall, maybe force some turnovers, and hope the offense has just a little bit in them. Luckily, the good news: Virginia Tech's offense doesn't tend to throw over 10-yard passes anyway. Those should be more likely to be completed in these conditions. Give me NC State by about 14, or North Carolina, by about 14 points.
I sure hope that's not the case. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Andrew Alex, 24/7 Sports, joining me, one of my old buddies over there in Virginia. And Andrew, I just wanted to give you a second too. Everyone here, and I want to make sure everyone's kind of keeping ESPN Blacksburg, the family, in our thoughts and prayers, the family over in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan too. Wanted to give you a chance. Lost someone today and just wanted to give you the chance to say something because it is a tough situation. I'm not usually good about talking about these kind of things, but it is sad. And it is just one of those things that just check up on your friends, man. Like check up on your friends and family. Just make sure that they're doing okay because you seriously never know what's going on with someone.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nate, it is a dark day in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, in ESPN, or in Blacksburg, Virginia, and just all around the world. We lost a great man, a radio legend, Scott Nason, who worked for the Eagle up in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, as well as the ESPN station over there. A good friend of the guy that gave me and Nathan our start in radio, Paul Van Wagner. He and Paul were radio partners for years and years and years up there. And, through that, when Paul relocated to Virginia, they stayed incredibly close. Yeah. And Scott was a 30 minutes per week guest on our station when me and Nathan were there. He remained to the day of his death a guest there, and from the moment Paul got there. Through that, me and Nathan were able to, really get to know Scott very well. One of the most upbeat, charming, guy who just made everyone else feel good about themselves. Yeah. The kind of guy that everyone would want around. So it's a tough day as we've lost Scott Nason today. But like I told Nathan before we started this, all we could do was just do what Paul and Scotty were doing.
Yeah.
Jump on the radio and talk to your buddy. So, Scott, we love you. We miss you. As sad and as confusing as it is, but I can speak for myself and Nathan and everyone from that station that you touched, that you're a great man, and we're all better off for having known you.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew, I appreciate you, brother. You stay safe. I'll see you here pretty soon. I'll be over that way here in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Have a good one, Lincoln. Go Big Red this weekend.
Go Big Red. That's right. There he goes. Andrew Alex. Again, just wanted to reiterate thoughts and prayers. Seriously, if you guys could keep the ESPN Blacksburg, Sault Ste. Marie community, definitely a tough time for them. And just seriously, just check up on your friends, check up on your family. I'm not usually good at saying these kind of things and getting the right words to describe this type of situation, but you just never know what people are going through. I know that on the outside, a lot of people can look like they're okay, but sometimes people aren't okay. So check up on your friends, check up on your family. And I promise every single one of you, someone does love you. Someone does care about you. There's always hope. Wanted to make sure to give a shout out to that the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is officially changed to a 3-digit number. It is 988. So again, if you or someone else is struggling, I promise you someone out there loves you. There's always hope. There's always a reason to keep fighting. Just wanted to make sure that everyone got that. And again, thoughts and prayers out to the ESPN Blacksburg and the Eagle Sault Ste. Marie community. But we got to toss it to break. Sorry to get a little bit dark, a little bit somber there, but wanted to make sure to give a shout out to Scott and his family and all those families as well. But we'll have Shootout with Bach coming up after this. $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Make sure you stick with us right here on the block.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word, live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
Empire Fence and Netting in Waverly is now hiring for several positions. They're looking for a fence installer for both commercial and residential, for local projects, and ones that require travel. They also have openings for operators, dirt work, welding positions, and applicants with CDLs are very desirable. If you're looking for a locally operated business that provides excellent work for customers and great benefits and care for its employees, email info@empire-fence.com or give them a call at 402-682-7658. Empire Fence and Netting.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Quilliers, and Brent Excavate.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum. Guys, I just had my weigh-in over at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping after my second 10-week session over there. Since I started with them in April, I've lost 70 pounds. No pills, no starvation diets, just the proven method at Farrell's using kickboxing, strength training, nutrition, and personalized coaching. It all starts with their 10-week challenge. The next one begins on October 1st. Reserve your spot and get half off by mentioning the ticket. You can get all the information at fxblincoln.com, and I'll see you at Farrell's for the 10-week challenge beginning October 1st. Join now for 50% off.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Mild and breezy conditions here for our Thursday, topping out with a high of 78. South winds could gust over 20 at times, with just a few passing clouds. Heading into tonight, we'll keep a little bit of cloud cover around the region, a low down to around 53. Warm and breezy again tomorrow. South winds gusting over 20 with a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit ASBMidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.58 per hour. And other select jobs starting at $24.28 per hour, with wages growing up to $30.30 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us. Women who fought for their own financial futures. And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
That is correct. It's time to play the game. Strick, still on a little bit of a sabbatical, enjoying his time out over on the East Coast. But we got Jake Bakovin. He's ready to play the game, but at the same time, he's ready for someone to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. All you got to do is call 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln hotline. Your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Now, we're assuming that Bach is a nice guy. He's willing to give out chicken wings even if you lose.
That's right.
So, you know what? No matter what, someone is going home with some chicken.
But I still want to be the winner. I still want to be the winner.
You haven't won yet this week, Bach.
I know. You've made it difficult on me.
I know. I've been difficult. I will say, though, this is the first time that I will make it even.
Okay.
For the first, because I started to feel bad. I was picking on you a little bit. I will say that it was impressive, the Nebraska stuff. But then I picked your kryptonite, which was baseball. And now I'm thinking maybe I should pick soccer tomorrow because
don't do
soccer's your second kryptonite.
That is definitely a kryptonite.
That is definitely a kryptonite. All right, we will head to the Honda Lincoln hotline where we have Andrew. Andrew, what's going on today, man?
Nothing other than Baca should know that he's going down.
Oh, I love it. I love the trash talk. I love the confidence, Andrew. You know how this goes. Stay on the line. We got to get box answers first. See how many points you got to get in order to win the chicken. So hang on the line there for just a second, and then we will get your questions to you. Bach, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We will start in 3, 2, and excuse me. Before we start, top 25 matchups this week.
Oh, okay.
I got to give you the category. I don't want you to just kind of be in the dark. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about? All right. You ready?
Yep.
All right, we'll start in 3, 2, and 1. Washington will travel to this West Coast school. Oregon or UCLA?
Oregon.
It's actually UCLA. Oklahoma travels to this Texas school. TCU or Baylor?
TCU.
That's correct. Arkansas hosts this SEC juggernaut. Alabama or Georgia?
Who is it again?
Arkansas.
Alabama.
That's correct. Mississippi State hosts this 3-1 SEC school. Texas A&M or LSU?
A&M.
That is correct. And which school is hosting College Game Day this weekend?
Clemson.
You almost finished that one without the buzzer even having to go off.
Right.
Bach. That was pretty impressive.
Not a bad score.
Not a bad score. Not a bad score. I think it's your best score of the week, actually.
Oh,
that will finish you with 5 points. That's the thing is I had to make this even, but I'm going to assume that you know the college football schedule pretty well.
Yeah, I
because,
do. Pay
that's
attention
just
to it a
kinda-
little bit.
I know you do. I know you pay attention to the top 25 pretty well. Andrew, 5 points to tie. You get all 6, you sweep, you win. How are you feeling?
We'll see.
All
Not
right.
sure about the category.
Well, for what it's worth, I have confidence in you, Andrew. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, we will start in 3, 2, and 1. Ole Miss hosts this SEC foe, Missouri or Kentucky?
Missouri.
It's actually Kentucky. Wake Forest travels to this ACC school, Pittsburgh or Florida State?
Pittsburgh.
It's actually Florida State. USC hosts this Pac-12 school, Arizona or Arizona State?
Arizona State.
That's correct. Aiden O'Connell travels to which Big Ten school, Minnesota or Iowa?
Iowa.
It's Minnesota. And Rutgers travels to this top-ranked Big Ten school.
Ohio State.
That is correct. So, Andrew, that will finish you with 3 points. A good effort. Couple tough ones sprinkled in there, but we still appreciate the fight. Go ahead and hang up now because the third caller will still get $15 Buffalo Wings and Rings. I got the approval from Bach. He's feeling a little generous
Could be Andrew.
today.
Could be Andrew still.
It could be Andrew. So he's feeling a little confident today. He ended up getting his win, so he's going to give out $15 Buffalo Wings and Rings. All you got to do is be the third caller, 402-464-5685. Bach, these are for you. You deserve these.
Boom shakalaka. Finish him. Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
And just like that, you're back on your winning way.
I needed that one. Yeah, I was a little bit worried there.
That was definitely a little bit of a rough showing for you over the past week, but
Yeah.
you're able to redeem yourself.
Totally redeemed yourself.
You redeemed yourself. I will say though, the first one was unfair, and the second one I wouldn't say is unfair. You just don't really know too much about baseball.
I just not paying attention to the standings too much.
You don't watch the playoffs?
The Red Sox aren't going to make it, so probably not.
Will you watch the World Series?
No.
Are you serious?
College football, baby. NFL football. That's the problem.
I
with
watch
it.
the World Series on like a Tuesday night.
Probably not too much of it. A little bit, yeah. Depends on. I mean, if it's interesting, intriguing stuff, maybe I'll jump into it. But
It'll be intriguing. I honestly like. I'm not a big Yankees guy, but I would like to see the Yankees. It's just the biggest storyline. Because I'm a big baseball guy. I love baseball. I want to see it expand. I want to see it grow. But in order to do that, I mean, like, you kind of need the Yankees to be good. Like, Yankees and Dodgers is probably best case scenario. Now, do I want the underdogs to make it? Yeah, it'll be great for ratings and help grow the game. And Aaron Judge certainly helps out with that too. So we'll end up seeing. But I'll be watching the World Series. I'll tell you that much. We got to take a quick break. We're running into the second hour of On the Block right after this. Going to talk to some Big Ten football. We're going to talk to Eric Strickland. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to send it over to the Mercado. Lots going on in the second hour. Make sure you stick with us. We'll see you on the other end. You'll listen On the Block. 937 Ticket.
Always up to no good. Van Nuys to Santa Ana. Crazy.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all of our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. You saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto in West O. Check us out at PriceRightAuto.com.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit ASBMidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.58 per hour. And other select jobs is starting at $24.28 per hour, with wages growing up to $30.30 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
I'm sick of the chaos.
Yeah, I am too.
But some people love coaching searches. Like, they love it. This is fun for them. Some people would prefer that to having consistency and success, which is odd to me. But you like chaos? That's your own thing, man.
I used to think that was about 3% of the fan base. Yeah, I'm going more toward 25% now.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money. But like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is On the Block with Strick and Nate. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
And Hokie Homer turned Husker, Nathan Brennan.
Everyone knows that I'm the smartest person here.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Nate.
Couldn't really ask for a more fitting song on a Thursday. We'll tell you why here in a second. You're listening on the Block 93.7 The Ticket. My name is Nate Brennan. He is the Boxster, Jake Bachman of the Ticket Water Cooler. He's been hopping in here all week, helping us out here on the block. 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline. You can reach us by call, by text. You can also head over to the Starter Heyman video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Give us some subs if you're over on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. We appreciate all of you for helping us get to 2,000, but we want total world domination of YouTube. We're going for 3,000. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, help us out. And you definitely want to give us a subscribe right now because we are going to be joined by Eric Strickland himself. He's been doing some traveling, been shaking some hands, kissing some babies. Strick, how's the trip been?
I'm doing good, man. Are you able to hear me pretty clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys fine. Just sitting in the airport right now, waiting to head back. Got to head down and try to reshoot the rest of these these scenes that I have to do.
Oh, nice.
Got a lot of stuff still moving and shaking, as you said. Doing a lot of networking. Had an opportunity to go and spend some time and watching that wonderful Cowboy game on Monday against the Giants there in MetLife Stadium. It was just a wonderful event there as well. Things have been good, man. The weather's been perfect. Shout out to all those, my family, loved ones, and friends, brothers, sisters, and everyone that's grown to love down there in Florida as they're getting hit right now by the storm and the moves up the coast. So, man, it's been good.
Well, Strick, now that I know what you're up to, we got to know what is Jim up to with these scenes you have to shoot over. What's Jim doing these days?
Who, Jim?
Yeah, isn't that your character's name?
Oh, yeah. yeah. Jim has kind of been on the road. He's been chilling. He's been handling business, doing CEO things. So, it's been like that so far at this point. But looking forward to kind of finishing that up, getting that completed. Looks like it's going to be sometime next year when it gets released to Tubi. So just really trying to hopefully I can hone in on these lines and get it all locked down and have it redone really well.
Strick, can you walk me through Monday Night Football? Since you were there, I really want to hear more about it because a classic NFC East matchup, the New York Football Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of talk right now, kind of the national headline is Cooper Rush going to take Dak Prescott's job. You were in the stadium. You saw Cooper Rush play in person. Is he as advertised?
Listen, Cooper Rush was very poised. He read the blitzes. They tried to, throw him off a little bit with different angles and coming from different places. They tried to confuse him some, and he seemed to just have an answer for it. I mean, obviously, it was a very good defensive back and forth game. Saquon Barkley had a wonderful game, but definitely Cooper Rush was surprisingly poised. Made good throws when it counted. The throw that he had. Listen. What he was throwing for, his QBR actually could have been even higher because guys were dropping balls. I mean, he had at least 3 drop balls. One of them, CeeDee Lamb, I could have punted him on a CeeDee Lamb, and he could have caught that. That's how just open he was and how much he was in his breadbasket and he dropped it. So he's surprisingly good. He got good control of the offense. You got to love that the running game is providing a lot of spark for them right now. Their line is performing. They're giving him time. They're picking up the blitzes, but Pollard is running phenomenal right now for the Cowboys. You should be looking at that and Zeke, as far as both of their jobs with the salary cap numbers that they have and the hits that they cause for the Cowboys. They'll be able to put more pieces together if they just go the Cooper Cup route. Cooper Rush count. The Cooper Rush way, if they go his way, they'll have a better opportunity to add more pieces to that organization.
Strick, we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you. Maybe we could maybe move or call back or something.
Yes. Strick, is there any way? Do you got another spot that maybe you're kind of cutting like in and out a little bit?
Yeah, are you hearing background noise?
Well, now we hear you a little bit better. You're just kind of fading out there, so I don't know. Maybe you moved to and it made some sense there. Did you have any lingering while you were in New York to kind of go and see Aaron Judge making history over there at Yankee Stadium? Any interest in that?
Oh man, yeah, no, we watched it, but we didn't get a chance to dip over there. Literally, we went down the next morning, and I'll talk about more about that tomorrow. I mean, just those guys, that organization, how wonderful it was to have the opportunity to be there. But no, man, it's awesome to watch history kind of unfolding. It's good to watch them being able to turn the mirror and the eyes upon baseball, and to have such I'm just surprised it's just not getting more. But hey, he's doing a wonderful job and managing it and speaking about it and handling it. So yeah, Judge is a phenomenal player, bro, and he's gonna do some tremendous things for the rest of his career.
Strick, I gotta ask you, as someone that's a huge baseball fan, I know I've been following. What is there like a buzz in New York? Is everyone wearing Yankees hats? Like,
oh yeah,
is that the talk of the town?
Yeah, that's one of the things that's going on right now. You're not hearing nothing Mets related. It's all Yankee fervor going on right now up in that area. But see, one of the unique things about New York is that even though we were in New York, we weren't in New York. So of course we're across the water, go across the George W. Bridge, kind of in that Secaucus area. New Jersey area. So we really wasn't in New York, but even though you're watching the Giants, it's a little bit different that it's actually across the water. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is. I always thought that was pretty strange. That they were doing
I
that.
don't understand how New York works at all. I know the city, there's like 4 different portions or spots of New York City.
Yeah, a lot of bridges.
I don't know what the 5 are. Well, what is like the Yankees are in Manhattan, right, Strick?
No, the Yankees are they're in the Bronx. So there's multiple boroughs. You have Queens, you have the Bronx, you have Manhattan, you have Brooklyn, and then you kind of have Harlem in that whole. Well, Harlem's part of Manhattan. Let's see, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, and there's one more. There's 5 of them, and so they're all connected, and it all kind of makes New York, but actually New York Yankees are in the Bronx. If I remember correctly, the Mets are in Queens.
I think that's right.
Potentially, so they're out by JFK area, out by the airport, out by where they have the U.S. Open and all that stuff. They're kind of out that way. So they're not necessarily there in the same light where the Knicks are actually in Manhattan, and Brooklyn. I mean, the Nets are actually in Brooklyn, which is a little bit crazy in itself.
Did you get a chance to do like meet up with any of your old Knick friends too? I know you played with the Knicks for a while. Any Madison Square Garden visits or anything?
Well, no, I didn't go down to Madison Square. Like I say, because the Giants play over in New Jersey. I mean, traffic is actually terrible, quite terrible when you're thinking about it in the New York area.
Yeah.
So getting to and from places and certain times, if you don't do it in certain times, and sometimes it doesn't matter what time, it's going to be what it is. An actual 20-minute drive, 25-minute drive can be an hour.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it is. Trying to get over these bridges, get through the tunnels. You just never know what you're going to walk into. So you got to really plan for it if you're going to drive around the New York area.
I always thought that was funny. Like if you're in Lincoln and you think about going to Omaha, it's like an hour away, and so you can't count that as the same. And nobody say, well, Lincoln and Omaha is not the same thing. But if you're in Los Angeles or New York, it'll take you an hour and a half to go less of a distance, but you can still just say, yeah, it's New York City. It is what
Staten
it is.
Island. Staten Island.
Absolutely, no question. Oh yeah, that's it. Staten Island is also part of it as well, but they're kind of isolated a little bit out a little bit. But yeah, they're all, that's all a piece of it too.
I'm pretty
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Staten Island is where the
Rangers
Islanders
play
play.
at Madison Square Garden, and actually the Islanders. That's why they're out that way. They're in Long Island.
So the Madison Square Garden is in Staten Island.
No, Madison Square Garden is actually in Manhattan. It's in the heart of Manhattan. I want to say it's like 43rd and 6th, or 43rd and 43rd and 6th maybe.
So when
Something
you
like
see,
that.
so when you see like in the movies, all the signs and all that, because I've been to that portion of New York. But to be entirely honest, I don't remember what it was. So that's Manhattan.
Yeah, it's not far. It's not far from Times Square is what they. I don't know. They might have changed the name now. So many things to be changing, but what people used to call, or if it's still called, Times Square. It's kind of close to there.
Well, Strick, what's the plan now? What is moving forward? I know you got tons of trips planned here coming up.
Yeah, so I'll go through Houston on my way to Dallas. I have to do those movie scenes again.
Right.
And then I also have to do a Mavs event next Wednesday there in Dallas for the Mavs. It's a foundational event, and I have to show up for that. So it's just kind of, instead of coming back and then taking another flight, I just decided to just go ahead and just go down to Texas and not waste an extra flight for that. You know, they kind of paid me basically to take that flight, so it's pretty cool. It worked out.
It's a good gig.
Before we let you go, you have to talk a little bit of Huskers, of course, coming off the bye week, giving new defensive coordinator Bill Busch a little bit of time to try to fix this thing. But if you just look at the matchup, Indiana passes the ball quite a bit around the yard. Do you expect Nebraska's defense to look a little bit better with the change, or do you think it's kind of a lot to ask, and you're going up against a heavy passing offense that you might be in for a shootout?
Well, let me say that I'm hopeful. I'm very optimistic that hopefully they can do that, because as of right now, we've made very bad quarterbacks look like Heisman Trophy candidates. That's what we really have to eliminate at this point, because it's been very bad for us. There's been nothing really we can turn to on the defensive side and say, hey, that's a Stapleton, or that's a hallmark place for us where we can, lay our flag and say, you know what, if we're going to do one thing, we're going to either stop the run or we're going to stop the pass, or we've got great corners. We don't have nothing really right now that we can say we do anything well. And so that's what we're hoping to just see a complete game from the defensive side. They've got to be able to stop the run. They've got to be able to just control and get off the field. And so I'm just hoping that they can do that, because right now Indiana doesn't have a great running game at all. I mean, if a guy gets 100 yards, it's like a tremendous thing for them. Maybe one guy on their team as a receiver is solid. So it's not anything, that you're scared of. But with us, we just never know. So I'm hoping that we're able to lock things down and get a victory, and just hopefully turn the mentality around, and hopefully turn just the energy around, and have those kids to have a good taste of what it really feels like to get a Big Ten win.
I think that's the biggest part about it, Strick, is building some type of confidence. I will tell you, too, before we let you go, I've been meaning to tell you I'm drinking the Kool-Aid for Husker basketball. We had Fred Hoiberg here in studio. He talked to us a little bit about the team, how they're shaping up so far in the offseason. I'm feeling good, especially now that Waka Flocka is coming to PBA.
Yeah, set it off down there. See, it's kind of crazy. We're getting things to happen down there. So I'm hoping that they got some action that's happening in the PBA. So we're looking forward to seeing what he's going to put together, because I think it's going to be more team-oriented. Yeah. They're going to have to play as a team. They're not going to have anything that anybody that you're just going to be able to say, hey, that's our go-to guy. So each night, hopefully, you'll have somebody else to step up, and you'll just have a round robin of guys averaging 10 to 15 points a game amongst 4 to 5 people. If you got 4 that's averaging in double figures, and you've got one that's like teetering right there at 8-9, and then a couple of guys that are giving you some good minutes off the bench. So hopefully that'll be the case.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I think that's definitely kind of Nebraska's brand of basketball that's going to have some type of success. I definitely want to see it. Strick, we will talk to you soon. We appreciate you coming on as always, and be safe in your travels.
I'll be back on the block tomorrow. So
Sweet.
I look forward to seeing you guys.
All right. Sounds great, Strick. We appreciate you. All right, there he goes, Eric Strickland Coast. If you're on the block again, he's out on the town. He's doing what Strick does. That's just kind of, Bach, you work with
He's
him.
an important guy, yeah.
He's a very important guy. We've all worked with him here at the station. He's got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I don't have too many people offer me plane rides.
No, it's
events.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you're a former NBA player.
Yeah,
you build connections. You got places you got to be. I've got nowhere I got to be.
the Mavs still haven't called me for some reason.
Yeah, no, I don't know why they didn't invite me over to Dallas to sign some autographs.
Don't they know I know Strickland?
Yeah, come on. No, honestly, I leave with that with everyone. It's like, yeah, I know Eric Strickland.
Yeah. I mean, that's the rub that makes you cool.
Exactly. That's why, if you're one of our listeners, tell them you listen to Eric Strickland. They'll probably give you something for free. I have no idea at this point, but we got to take a quick break. Aaron Judge officially at 61 bodes the question: does he now have a tie for the record? We'll talk about it next right here on the block. 93.7 The Ticket.
Man, just live in my aunt's house, yeah. I romance the thought of leaving it all behind.
Guys, I just had my weigh-in over at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping after my second 10-week session over there. Since I started with them in April, I've lost 70 pounds. No pills, no starvation diets, just the proven method at Farrell's using kickboxing, strength training, nutrition, and personalized coaching. It all starts with their 10-week challenge. The next one begins on October 1st. Reserve your spot and get half off by mentioning the ticket. You can get all the information at fxblincoln.com, and I'll see you at Farrell's for the 10-week challenge beginning October 1st. Join now for 50% off.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Quilliers, and Brent Excavate.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking in Louisville. Right now, our pre-owned sales are off the charts, and we have loaded up the lots full of inventory. We've got a great supply of Sierras, Silverados, Tahoes, Yukons, and crossovers. Plus, we've got a great supply of back-to-school cars just in time for the big day. Don't forget about all of those new 2022 and 2023 units arriving every day as well. So please take that short, money-saving drive down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Mild and breezy conditions here for our Thursday, topping out with a high of 78. South winds could gust over 20 at times, with just a few passing clouds. Heading into tonight, we'll keep a little bit of cloud cover around the region, a low down to around 53. Warm and breezy again tomorrow. South winds gusting over 20 with a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Join us on Fridays from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game on the block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jay Foreman and DP this Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.58 per hour. And other select jobs starting at $24.28 per hour, with wages growing up to $30.30 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Get a lot of advice about self-care these days, but one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We were hoping to get some Kevin Meyer action today, Thirsty Thursday, because the guys on Old School, they're out at the Mercado, 84th and Havelock. Make sure you hop on over that way. They're having their buy one, get one free on 4 packs of Steakhouse blended burger patties. I've already sent Nick over that way to go get my patties because I'm going to be in here in studio. But they are that good that I send Nick on errands to go get them.
There you go.
This is now your job for the rest of the day, is to go get us
Do you tip him?
No.
No.
But we split it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, go grab a friend, tell them that you'll split it, because then you basically paying half price because you buy one get one free, and head over to the Mercado because their burgers are that good. So me and Nick do it every single time they have this deal, and luckily today from 4 to 6 they have that deal again. But we're gonna have Kevin Meyer. He got wrapped up in some stuff as like Strick. He's a very busy man. He's got a lot of things
important
going
guy.
on. So he's an important guy. But I want to give a shout out to Meyer's Cork and Bottle. Over on South Street. I can't remember the actual address. You guys can look it up. Myers Cork and Bottle. I promise you. Kevin will hook you up. He'll help you out. He's definitely helped me out because on a couple of times I've been like, Kev, I got a date night. I don't know what I'm looking at, but we want some type of wine. And I promise you, if you give him any type of idea of what you're looking for, he will hook you up and he'll help you out. 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln hotline, Sarter Heyman text line. Thank you, Mark. 13th and South. I knew it was South.
1244 South.
Yeah, so 13th and South. I appreciate you, Mark. 13th and South. If you want to head over to Myers Cork and Bottle, help you out every single Thursday and every day for that matter. It doesn't just have to be on Thursday. But 402-464-5685, Sarter Heyman text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can check us out on all of those platforms as well. We're going to get into what I believe as the story of the day outside of Nebraska, Indiana, on the Big Ten Network, of course. Primetime, Bach, whether you want to admit it or not. I think the biggest national storyline, and I think it's interesting because up until the 61, I feel like it really wasn't. And I want to get your thoughts because I've talked to Strick about this, and it's one of the most baffling things to me that I'm more of a baseball guy, so that's why I like to get other perspectives and I like to hear from other people. But this is one of the biggest things that has happened in baseball since Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Like seriously, when they were duking it out, trying to set the record, which ultimately they did, Barry Bonds would end up breaking that record. This is the biggest deal. This is the biggest thing that's happened in baseball. And I feel like so many people aren't looking at it that way, because it's not breaking the record. Yesterday, he tied Roger Maris, who had the record for 40 years, 30, 40 years.
61, yeah.
So it was 30, 40 years. I don't know the exact window of how long he had the record, but then you throw steroids into the discussion. And that's why I think it's so fascinating, because those guys have an asterisk next to their name. Like there's a reason they're not in the Hall of Fame. Whether you agree with it or not, none of those guys are going to get into the Hall of Fame. It's done, tarnished. Barry Bonds, for what it's worth, his eligibility is gone. Like he legitimately, unless there's some type of thing that happens within the writers, within the actual Major League Baseball, I don't know the actual optics behind that situation, the logistics, but there's a way he can still get in. But the voting window he has is done. It's over. He's not in the Hall of Fame. So I think if you look at it from that perspective, Aaron Judge, technically, again, this is technically, and it's however you want to view it, he'd be breaking a record. Now, I think what makes it so interesting is that when those guys were hitting home runs, there was competition. Like there was Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, even Barry Bonds the year that he hit it. I believe it was Sammy Sosa still hit 60 home runs in the season. Now, he didn't end up breaking Barry Bonds' record, which still is hold to this day. And I don't know if it's ever going to be touched. Do you think, Bach, that this should be a bigger headline than it is? I know it's getting some recognition today, but I feel like from what I've gathered from my parents, guys at the station, Strick, is that legitimately the Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa home run battle was national news.
Oh, yeah.
Transcended sports. Like it
brought
was
baseball back.
You turned on whatever platform it may be, whatever news station, whatever organization you prefer to watch in your free time. That was the news. That's what you talked about. And I know a couple morning shows this morning mentioned that Aaron Judge hit 61, but the tracker hasn't been there. I mean, until last night, until today, no one really talked about it.
Well,
and it's weird to me. It blows my mind.
College football fans were getting upset because the only time they did do it when they were cutting into college football games, and people did not like that.
But see, I was okay with it. I liked it. That's history that I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I mean, if you're that much of, I mean, it just depends on how you look at the whole thing, right? Is it history? If you look at Barry Bonds 73, then what does 62, 61 do? It sets a Yankees record, I suppose. It sets an AL record or ties it. But it's not necessarily, which is fine. But it's not the ultimate history making moment that I would need to cut into my college football. I tell you this: if I was watching Nebraska football and they cut away for anything, I will be mad. So I mean, that's part of it too. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm here to watch Nebraska football, and Nebraska sports has been, for one reason or the other, penalized time and time again, because it seems like no matter what preempts them, there's usually an overtime game or something that goes on. Nebraska gets moved over to ESPN News or Fox Business Channel, and then you got to scramble and find that. But I think the intriguing part about this is, I think, in twofold, and one of it is that you could not build a better star for baseball, who needs stars, who needs a face of the sport, than a giant home run swatting Yankee. And so this is the best that you could create in a lab for them, and so this is the best that baseball is going to get. All that being said, I wonder if there's a little bit less to for people to buy in, and maybe it should be more so nationwide, but the fact that he's kind of on the contract here is kind of what makes it all awkward as well. Is like,
really, is
he even going to be a Yankee next year? So
I didn't even think about it from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I because I've just, it is he, and he is. I mean, he's fully embraced. He's a homegrown Yankee. But I think that's just kind of been hanging out a little bit over it. But to me too, it kind of goes back to the, going back to, again, one of my more closer to my sports is Reggie Bush won a Heisman. You can tell me he didn't win a Heisman. I saw him do it. He was the best player that year until Vince Young was, and then Vince Young probably should have won the Heisman. So that's a different argument for a different day. But I
think that's a little bit different, though. I think you're kind of walking a fine line there, because while I understand what you're saying, that Reggie Bush was the Heisman, he wasn't taking something that gave him an advantage over his opponents. Now, was he cheating by quote unquote cheating in terms of the rules? Yes, both of them are cheating. But I think there's a little bit of gray area there, because Reggie Bush was accepting benefits, money, cars, house, whatever he was getting at the time. That wasn't giving him an advantage on the field. Did that decide which school he went to? Yeah, probably. It probably had some type of influence. But these guys on the other end, and again, I'm not, the thing is, I want to make it clear, I'm not taking a side on this, because to be honest with you, I think there's so much gray area, I don't know how to interpret it. But at the same time, these guys were taking enhancing steroids that were banned from the sport of baseball to make them better at the game.
Right.
And I think that's more the discussion.
But it wasn't, I mean, it was, yes, it was banned, but it was like this look the other way policy. I mean, all this was for years.
No, and you're right.
So I mean, that was baseball at the time. Is if you're not juicing, you're not trying, basically.
Right.
So it was. I like, my point with comparing it to Reggie Bush is not, to compare their sins or anything. My point is, I saw a man hit 73 home runs. I watched it happen. It was a big deal. I saw two guys dueling and getting to 70 with, McGuire and Sosa. So maybe if it was one guy, you could say, well, that guy cheated. So, but it's three guys I've seen already hit more home runs than this. I lived through it. I watched it.
So the fact that they were taking steroids at the time doesn't change the fact for you.
It doesn't change the fact that they hit those amount of home runs.
Until you get over 70 and you're flirting with that 73 number, it's just whatever.
It's not whatever. It's miraculous for anybody to be hit.
I think because
this amount of home runs.
The craziest part about it, because I think the argument always is that 63 or 61, is an incredible feat, in which I think we're all agreeing that it is, and I'm on the same page there. But I think the question is, okay, but he's not breaking the record,
right? Is it historic?
Is it historic? And I think that's why there's so much gray area, and why it's so frustrating for me is because, as a baseball fan, I think this is a huge deal. And I think that it opens up a discussion of what do you interpret as the real record and what you don't. The same thing can be said for Barry Bonds' all-time home run list. Like Albert Pujols, if he wasn't going to retire this year, say Albert Pujols had 3 more years left in the tank, which he doesn't. He's going to retire, whatever have you. He would be flirting near that second rank, that second tier of Hank Aaron.
Yeah.
Does that mean that if he passes Hank Aaron, he would now be the all-time home run leader? I don't think so, but I think if you're a baseball fan, you can have your own interpretation, because whether you like it or not, Barry Bonds did take steroids. And you can just look at the man and tell that, hey, this was the point that he started taking steroids. This was the point that he started hitting home runs. And guess what? There's a strong correlation between the two, whether you like it or not. Now, was Barry Bonds hitting home runs before that? Absolutely. But he wasn't hitting it like that. And Texter brings up the point, does the fact that McGuire, Sosa, Bonds all use steroids to get there has people tainted to this? Are we just waiting for it to come out the judge to use as well 10 years from now? I think that's interesting, because for what it's worth, there's a lot stronger testing now for steroids.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot more difficult. I mean, you can look at Fernando Tatis. He was using something as on his skin, wasn't even injecting anything, and he gets hammered for steroids and now is suspended half a season. So I don't know if that's going to come out. I just think that if you're a baseball purist, you're probably viewing this as history. You're probably viewing this as, you know what, if he gets one more, he's got the record. And the thing is like, I'm open up for debate. I'm open up for people's opinions. I love hearing it, but that's why I think it should be a bigger deal. Like the thing is, baseball, they might have fumbled the bag when it comes to expanding the sport, making it more accessible to youth, getting maybe the purists not out of the game, but making it more fun for kids.
Right.
Like, that maybe they missed the mark. And I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what you can do, but baseball hasn't helped themselves out. Unfortunately, where we currently stand, baseball purists dominate the fan base. So that's why I think it's probably a big deal, because if you are one of those baseball purists, this is it. Like, you've got it. This is the guy. And I think that's where it's so interesting and so fascinating, because, again, I still don't even know if I want to take a side. I know, like, because you know what? Because, like, in a sense, he is breaking a record that isn't tainted, quote, tainted. But at the same time, like you said, it's not the record.
Yeah, I mean, and again, to me, it would change it quite a bit. Maybe if there was one guy that was caught for steroids, that was if it was just Barry Bonds. But having seen 3 people already eclipse this mark, it's just, you could say, you can say what you will about the purists and the purity of the game and all that, but like, again, I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm not making it up that they jacked that many home runs, and I embrace the steroid era. That might be another part of it. Is if you're on the old guard that wants to hate on the steroid era and keep all those guys out of the Hall of Fame, so be it. And good luck with the purity of your sport. But I mean, that's the other part of it. It's like, yeah, they got popped for this, and it's a big deal, I guess. Don't get me wrong, but again, it was the culture of baseball. Bud Selig, the whole thing was just look the other way. It was almost encouraged. So, and by the way, it was better. It was a better product. It was more fun to watch.
It was a national
storyline. So that's what I like. I liked baseball that way.
I am. Listen, I don't want to tell people what to do with their body. If you want to take steroids, you can take steroids.
Yeah.
I've always said that. Now, baseball's never going to allow that to happen, but I've always been of that belief. Blonde Bomber says on YouTube, everyone was taking steroids. Stop acting like they weren't. The pitchers were also on steroids. They were hitting against steroid users also. And that's why it's so interesting. That's a whole different conversation, because, yes, you had the Roger Clemens, guys of the like that were taking steroids. But at the same time, it's not football. Like, if everyone's taking steroids, or if a couple guys are taking steroids, like it's noticeable, because it's literally man on man, strength on strength. Yes, the pitchers were taking steroids, but if anything, what is that going to make you throw harder? Going to make your curveball break a little bit harder? At the end of the day, if a guy's taking steroids and he puts on 20 pounds of muscle, it doesn't matter how hard you're throwing, how much spin you have the ball. If the guy tees it up just right, the ball's going to go. Like it's gone. So I don't know. I think that's an interesting conversation, but I don't really know if I'm buying that.
Well, and then I don't know if it's pitcher versus batter, but the point is that everybody was taking steroids and not everybody's the home run king. I mean, these were the few guys that kind of broke the mold, and there's other guys hitting 50 home runs and stuff like that. So I mean, it did, it was more than just a few guys, but there was just a list of hundreds of guys taking steroids, and none of them are in this discussion that we're talking about today. We all point to the steroid users for the guys that had the most success with it. But again, that was the culture. Everybody was taking steroids, so that doesn't mean you're automatically going to hit 73 home runs.
No,
you have to go out there and jack them, and there's only one guy that did. That's Barry Bonds.
But let me ask you this though, and I just want yes or no answer. If Barry Bonds didn't take steroids, do you think he got 73?
No.
And that's it. And that's what makes it such a fascinating conversation, because I think, and again, I don't know, Barry Bonds, he was a great player. The cool thing about Barry Bonds is you can look at the point where you can kind of guesstimate that he started taking steroids. He probably had 2 separate Hall of Fame careers.
Oh, yeah.
Like he is very similar in the likes of a Michael Jordan, of a LeBron James. You can split it in half, and you can say this guy's a Hall of Famer here, he's a Hall of Famer there. But at the same time, I don't think Barry Bonds is hitting 73 home runs without taking steroids.
But would it be, could maybe have hit 63, 64? Maybe.
See, that's like, I don't know. And that's why I don't know. It's just so much gray area. Texter says this doesn't discount what you just said, but steroids help with muscle recovery, which would probably benefit pitchers too. No, I completely understand. Like, don't get me wrong. The pitchers that were taking steroids, i.e. Roger Clemens, you're going to get better if you're taking steroids no matter what. I mean, it's a sport. Athleticism, strength, all of that goes into play. They're going to help you. But I don't think baseball is in the same terms of like taking steroids on a football field. Like, you're not clashing against another man. Like, mano a mano, strength wins. Like, this is hitting the ball with the stick. Like you said, Bach, guys are going to hit home runs whether you're taking steroids or not. But the number of home runs that you're going to hit probably going to be a little bit different. And then the unnamed texter said, hey, 20 years later, it's still something to talk about. At least it is still something to talk about. I think it helps grow the game of baseball.
Well, and two, I mean, there's just conversations for every one of these things. I mean, because when Maris beat Babe Ruth's record, he did so with a longer regular season. He had more games to do it. But both of them, I mean, you could say what they're playing plumbers or whatever. Go back to that.
Chamberlain.
But I mean, when you could still for you say of Maris, segregation. I mean, at the time, right. So I mean, was were all the best players on the field? I don't know.
Right.
So I mean, you can really damn the steroid era, but there's every era has its own question marks that throw into it.
No, absolutely, and I think that's what it makes it interesting, because you can throw Babe Ruth in that conversation too. Like, he was right around that number, like that 60 number that everyone has been wanting to get to. Remember Giancarlo Stanton a few years back?
Oh yeah,
he was almost at that 60 number. He got to 59. I don't think that was a big enough deal when he was doing that too. Aaron says this: you guys are on a topic that really makes my blood boil. I don't care if these guys were using steroids. Bonds, McGuire, and Sosa still had to hit the ball with the bat. Steroids doesn't make you make contact better, makes you hit it farther. That's it. Aaron, I think you're right, and I think you're helping prove my point. And that's the question that I ask everyone: is that, trust me, you have to be an incredible baseball player to even hit one home run.
In Major Leagues,
in Major League Baseball, like the spin that these guys can put on the ball, the speed that they throw it at, the location. There are so many factors. There's a reason why there's so many subdivisions of Major League Baseball. I mean, you have every minor league baseball under the sun, and everyone's in the same goal to make the 25-man roster on a baseball team, where half of them are damn pitchers. So trust me, I'm not saying it's easy to hit a baseball. All I'm saying is, if you had Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire not taking steroids, do we think they get to the numbers that they were at?
Probably not quite.
Probably not.
But maybe still more than 61. We don't know.
And that's the thing, and that's the craziest part about all of it, Bach, right? Is that we have no idea of
because
they did take steroids. Like, it's done. It happened.
And for what it's worth, people think McGuire because he got to the top. And then Barry Bonds, because he got the top. Don't sleep on Sammy Sosa just because he's a weird guy, Dracula-looking guy now. He had 3 seasons above 61
Sosa,
right now.
Trust me, Sammy Sosa was awesome.
And got caught with a corked bat. He was doing everything he could to hit home runs, and I enjoyed it.
And, for what it's worth, too, Sammy Sosa was the one out of that group that was never technically caught with steroids because he went to the court of law and said he couldn't speak English. So interpret that how you want to. But in the court of law, he couldn't speak English. He's innocent. Stick with that.
Innocent until proven guilty.
That's what it is. Sammy Sosa, the all-time home run record holder. That's what I'm going to stick with. We got to take a quick break. We're going to wrap things up, put a nice bow on it, and then we're going to toss it out to the Mercado. Stick with us. You listen on the block. 937 The Ticket.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Stone, and joining me in just a moment is Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. But before I bring Andy on, I need to tell you about something that really got my attention. Just the other day, I saw on television Andy announcing that in the last 50 years, they had sold and serviced close to 100,000 vehicles.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, actually, the number would be a lot higher if we add in how many repeat customers we have for service and that come back to buy cars from us over and over and over again.
Now, Andy, tell everybody about your special offer.
Well, as most people know, always trade for vehicles, but now we're offering for people to come in and sell us their cars. We're ready to buy, bring it on in, whether it's a year old or a few years old, and we'll pay them cash that same day. It'll be hassle-free, and we'll do it the Honda of Lincoln way.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of buying cars, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Join us on Friday from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game on the block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jay Foreman and DP this Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Guys, I just had my weigh-in over at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping after my second 10-week session over there. Since I started with them in April, I've lost 70 pounds. No pills, no starvation diets, just the proven method at Farrell's using kickboxing, strength training, nutrition, and personalized coaching. It all starts with their 10-week challenge. The next one begins on October 1st. Reserve your spot and get half off by mentioning the ticket. You can get all the information at fxblincoln.com, and I'll see you at Farrell's for the 10-week challenge beginning October 1st. Join now for 50% off.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking in Louisville. Right now, our pre-owned sales are off the charts, and we have loaded up the lots full of inventory. We've got a great supply of Sierras, Silverados, Tahoes, Yukons, and crossovers. Plus, we've got a great supply of back-to-school cars just in time for the big day. Don't forget about all of those new 2022 and 2023 units arriving every day as well. So please take that short, money-saving drive down 144th Street or shop online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln. It has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping things up on a Wednesday before we go ahead and not a Wednesday. What am I thinking? Nebraska. That's what it'll do to you. Going crazy every day. Every day is looking forward to game day. They're all running together. Thursday. We're almost to the weekend. We've almost made it. We can do it. Thursday. Have yourself some wine. Grab a beer. Who cares at this point? Just drink whatever you want.
It's. I think it's the lack of Nebraska. That bye week, I think, has thrown people off. It threw a day off.
No, because I was just like, Wednesday. Like, it sounds great. It is.
Yeah. I'm starving for some Husker football.
Oh, I'm starving for some Husker football, too. I'm starving for some Aaron Judge baseball, too, Bob. Screw it. I'm all in. It should be a bigger deal.
Maybe. And we were talking during the break. It should at least be a bigger deal for baseball. Like, I understand, like, for me, the college football fan, I don't necessarily want to see it be cut in every throw or my favorite shows or whatever. But if you're baseball, get a hold of Fox, get a hold of ESPN and say, this is as big a story as we can get for regular season baseball. It's not going to get any bigger than this. Let's push it. And again, like I said, it's getting a fair share of attention, but like I said, I just don't think you could build it any better unless it was a guy maybe that we fell in love with. You kind of bring up Ken Griffey Jr. was in that race too. Just somebody naturally that everybody was drawn
like
to.
Shohei Ohtani, maybe.
Right?
That's the only other one.
But if having just a giant home run hitting Yankee. That's exactly what you need if you're baseball, and it just doesn't. I just don't know if they're capitalizing enough off of it.
No, and I think they need to figure something out because this has been baseball's problem for years now. You're trying to get the attention of the young audience. Mark just came in here too. He's like, I was 11 years old during the home run race. That was the coolest thing in the world to me. That was all I cared. Like that thing is when you're a kid, like that's what you focus on. That's what you care about, and kids don't care anymore. You wonder why, because you can't see it. You don't know. It just blows my mind, and it really is tough to see because the baseball fan in me, I absolutely love it. I'm all for the Aaron Judge thing, all for the home run race. I wish it was a bigger deal.
By the way, you know why I'm really excited about Nebraska playing in prime time, as you say? That 11 a.m. window. Oh man. I'm going to be on the couch for some Michigan, Iowa, and Minnesota, Purdue.
I want to be drinking a little early.
Right in there.
That's why night games are a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit on the couch, crack a beer, watch the football. Next thing you know, it's like, well, it's only 2. Nebraska's still got a game in prime time.
Yeah.
But that's what we do. And we're going to be at Tipsy Tina's, too. So make sure you go ahead and head out to Tipsy Tina's on Saturday. We're going to get underway at 4 o'clock. Tacos, margaritas, beer, all that good stuff. It's going to be quite a good time. We're going to toss it out to the Mercado. That'll do it for us here on The Block. 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Nate Brennan. He's Jake Bachman. We'll see you tomorrow right here on The Block.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL